Here we have top 9 ways you're sabotaging your budget without realizing it. Number 1, ignoring purchases that are frequent and of a small amount. On their own, seemingly insignificant purchases such as daily coffee, snacks, or even regular dining out may appear to be insignificant. Yet over time, these purchases can easily add up to a large amount. Despite their seeming insignificance, these charges might, when added up, cause your budget to be depleted without your knowledge. Taking $5 cup of coffee every morning, for example, adds up to $1,825 over a year, which is sufficient to make a substantial difference in your financial plane. You may combat this by keeping a careful record of these tiny purchases and imposing a limit on the amount of money you can spend on discretionary items. Number 2, not providing adequate consideration to subscription services. The expense of subscription services, which can include everything from streaming platforms and fitness apps to magazine subscriptions, is sometimes overlooked, even though they can add up to a large amount of money, especially if these regular expenses are automatically deducted from your account. It's simple to forget about them. Reviewing your subscriber list and bank statements regularly will help you address this issue. Evaluate the value of each subscription and determine how relevant it is to your current requirements. Those that are not being used or are redundant should be terminated, and if possible, consolidation of services should be considered to save expenses. Number 3, failing to include unpredictable expenses in planning your budget. Many budgets are centered on fixed monthly expenses but often fail to take into consideration sporadic or annual costs, such as the cost of maintaining a vehicle, paying insurance premiums, or purchasing gifts for the holidays. Your budget may be thrown off if you're not adequately prepared for these unanticipated charges. The best way to handle this situation is to make an annual estimate of these erratic expenditures and then divide that number into monthly amounts. Every month, you should put away a certain amount of money from your income into a separate fund that's specifically designated for these sporadic expenditures. By taking this preventative measure, you will be able to ensure that you're financially ready for these charges when they occur. Number 4, failing to take into account impulsive purchases. Feelings or opportunities for sales can lead to impulsive purchases, which can be detrimental to your financial plane. These spur-of-the-moment choices frequently result in expenditure that's later regretted and concern regarding finances. One strategy that can be used to reduce impulsive buying is the 24-hour rule, which states that one should wait a full day before making a purchase. Make a list of things you need to buy and stick to it. Avoid going shopping when you are feeling pressured or emotional. Developing habits of mindful spending can assist you in overcoming the impulse to make impulsive purchases and maintaining the integrity of your budget throughout the process. Number 5, failing to comply with your spending tracking obligations. Only if you keep track of it and stick to it will a budget be considered successful. When you fail to keep track of your real spending, you run the risk of exceeding your budget and experiencing unexpected financial deficits. You may keep track of every expense by using budgeting tools or applications and then compare those expenses to the amounts you have budgeted for. It's important to conduct regular reviews of your spending habits to discover areas in which you may be overspending. Your ability to stay in line with your budget and to make educated decisions regarding your finances can be improved via consistent tracking and adjustment. In adequately accounting for variable income in 6th point. When it comes to those who have incomes that are unpredictable or inconsistent, such as freelancers or professionals who are paid on a commission basis, budgeting can be an especially difficult task. There's a possibility that periods of overspending or financial difficulty could result from fluctuations in income. Your budget should be based on typical monthly revenue rather than the peak periods to adequately manage this situation. You should put some of the money you make during months of high income into a savings account so that you can use it to supplement periods of low income. This strategy helps to smooth out the fluctuations in your income and creates a financial cushion for you to fall back onto. Number 7, unrealistic expectations regarding your capacity to save money. Putting too much pressure on yourself to save money can result in feelings of frustration and ultimately cause you to give up on your budget. Setting savings goals that are both attainable and realistic, taking into account your actual income and costs, is a vital step to take. You should begin by setting small savings objectives, and as your financial condition improves, you should gradually expand those goals. Because of this progressive method, your savings plan will be sustainable and will be aligned with your total budget, which will reduce the risk that you will become discouraged or that you will fail by saving money. Number 8, failing to make arrangements for unexpected circumstances. To have a complete and comprehensive financial strategy, it's essential to have an emergency fund. It serves as a financial safety net to cover unforeseen expenses such as those incurred in the event of a medical emergency, accident, or loss of employment. You may be compelled to rely on high-interest credit cards or loans if you do not have this buffer, which will result in additional financial distress and the build-up of debt. It's important to have an emergency fund that's sufficient to cover 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenditures to properly manage any potential problems that may arise. This amount should be stored in a separate account that's quickly accessible, perhaps a high-yield savings account or a money market account, which allows for quick access without incurring any penalties. Any contributions, no matter how modest, that are made consistently to this fund will assist to ensure that it continues to be resilient and prepared for any unanticipated events. Your emergency fund should also be reviewed and adjusted regularly to take into account any changes in your lifestyle or the amount of money you spend. For instance, if you experience a substantial shift in your income or important life events, such as the addition of a new family member or the purchase of a home, you should reconsider your savings goal too. Number 9, failing to take into account hidden fees. There are hidden costs that can eat away at your budget in ways that you may not realize right away. Bank account maintenance fees, annual fees for credit cards, fees for using automated teller machines, and transaction expenses that build over time are all examples of these types of fees. There is a common occurrence in which these expenses are concealed inside the tiny print of financial agreements or are routinely deducted without any distinct indication. Conducting a comprehensive examination of all of your financial accounts and statements regularly is an effective way to combat hidden fees. Consider each fee in detail to gain an understanding of its function and to evaluate how it will affect your overall budget. Pay particular attention to recurring costs, which may appear to be insignificant at first, but can dramatically pile up over time. Take the time to familiarize yourself with the terms and conditions of the financial products you use. By way of illustration, certain credit cards provide benefits that warrant the yearly fees that they charge, whilst other credit cards might not. It's advisable to search for accounts and services that provide price exemptions or decreased fees, and if necessary, you can also consider moving to more cost-effective solutions. Keeping yourself aware and taking charge of these expenses will allow you to prevent them from undermining the financial goals you have set for yourself. To sum everything up, this dynamic method of budgeting demands ongoing awareness and adjustment to be successful. You will be able to improve your financial discipline and more effectively attain your financial objectives if you're aware of and take action to avoid these 9 frequent mistakes. It's important to keep in mind that the secrets of effective budgeting is not simply in establishing the limitations, but also in comprehending and effectively controlling the various ways in which spending might sneak through the cracks. Maintain a budget that works for you by remaining proactive. Keep track of your spending, making adjustments to your habits. This will ensure that you are financially stable and successful over the long run.